Hello, welcome to Rose and Carter Do the JRB. It's Wednesday, Territory Day, and it's Bully Boy Carter's pick of Stampede Wrestling, something that I know you're a fan of, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Stampede stuff, but not so much the era that I chose, like that I watched last night.
Right.
So I looked everywhere for an episode with all the fucking stars in, like Brett and Dynamite. I wanted an episode before they all went to WWF, you see.
Yeah.
Maybe fucking Jake Roberts or JYD or whatever. I could only find matches. And then I found an episode that I picked, and yeah, we'll go through that shit when it's time. But I really wanted a good one. I really wanted a fuck because you know how much I love the fucking Hearts and Stampede. Like when I talk about territories, I love Stampede, but I love like the fucking like 80, 81 like time. You know what I
Right.
mean? So yeah, the era I chose wasn't like what I would have picked.
Mine was a bit later on. When was mine? 88, mine.
Yeah, mine was
So,
88.
yeah. I did enjoy it, to be fair. I mean, it was fucking. I said to you, didn't I, yesterday, that I think it was just shabby booking. Like, and it was just
Yeah.
a bit fucking mishmash, and nobody seemed to know what the fuck was going on. But in the ring was all right. You know what I mean? All that. Fucking yesterday, I had a right good fucking wrestling night. Okay, went
Yeah.
to bed early, so I was up till like fucking 8 in the morning watching fucking wrestling.
Yeah. No.
Um, and you go through YouTube and you watch fucking all sorts of shit, and then you see something else, and you think, oh, I'll watch some of him as well. And
Yeah.
I, I watched Colt Cabana. Right
All
now,
right.
I've always had it in my head that Colt Cabana was fucking stupid,
Right. Okay.
right? And I watched one of his matches with Grado, and it was comedy wrestling, and yes, it was stupid, but I think I'm fucking warming to him.
All right. Okay.
See, now I don't know whether I'm warming to him or whether I'm warming to the fact that wrestling since I last watched Colt Cabana is even more stupid.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean. Um.
It's
I-
nothing to do with Stampede. I just had to fucking tell you. And like I'm warming to Colt Cabana because I've always said, nah, it's fucking ludicrous the shit that he does. But when I think back to when I was a kid and I used to watch wrestling on fucking holiday camps and that was all funny,
Hmm.
but it was still wrestling and they could still do the wrestling thing.
Yeah.
And Colt Cabana was still wrestling. He likes the British style as well, doesn't he, Colt Cabana?
Yeah. He does. And like them DVDs that I got off you was there was a couple of his podcasts on there.
Mm.
With some British guys. I think Johnny Saint was one. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah. And they're interesting. Like listening to them and stuff. But like Colt, I've never. I've not seen a whole lot of his stuff to form
No,
an
no, Norman. That's why I looked into him more yesterday, really.
yeah.
But the little bit that I saw, maybe fucking 10 years ago, I thought was that ludicrous
Right.
that I shouldn't really be watching it because it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But now I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, well, maybe it's not that ludicrous after all.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff I've seen, I've not really been too fond of. Not like it was terrible or anything. It was just wasn't really for me. But like I say, I've not watched enough of it to,
Mm,
form an actual proper opinion. So you never know.
yeah,
So,
I don't know whether it's my taste has changed or the fact that so much more other crazy shit has happened since I've last watched it. That wrestling's changed that much that it's not that ludicrous anymore. And I can almost accept it because it's not far off what I used to watch as a kid at fucking Pontins anyway.
mm,
But anyway, that's Colt Cabana. Fuck all to do with Stampede. I just thought I'll slip it in.
uh,
Yeah. So what 88 you said you watched?
yeah. It hasn't got a date.
What month was yours? And then whoever's first month will go first, and it makes sense, doesn't it?
I don't know what date mine was. It just said 1988.
Okay.
So what was your first match? Because then if it's the same match as mine, then we know that we've watched the same fucking one.
Well, the first off, there was a presentation to Owen Hart for Rookie of the Year from Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
All right, yeah, that's not the one I got then.
Okay.
Right. So should we do mine or yours?
You crack on.
Right, okay. So yeah, it's just 8. It just says Stampede 88 or whatever. I don't know I don't know really what month or anything it was. But anyway, the first match here is Strangler Steve DeSalvo. Do you know him?
Yes, Steve Strong he used to be.
Right, I
In-
did.
in
I wrote in brackets
Canada.
that he looked familiar, but I didn't
Yeah.
know where I knew him from. But he did look
You've got
familiar.
that. You've got that video, I think, with Abdullah on it from Canada, Montreal, and it's got like Samu, the head shrinker, Dino Bravo. He's on that anyway. From
All right.
Montreal. But international wrestling, is it in Montreal?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like French speaking stuff.
Right. Yeah. And he's from there.
Yeah, I think he was
Right.
trained by the Hearts.
Right. Okay. He looks good. Like he looks like in
Yeah,
decent shape and all that.
he did WCW for like 10 minutes. There's some
Right.
strange gimmick, a fucking black thing on his arm.
Right.
Manitar, not Mantar from fucking WWF, like, but a similar name to that.
All right. Okay. All right. Anyway, he was wrestling Yang Chung.
Right.
Right. Do you know him?
I've had that from the Chinese.
Yeah. Well, right. So I've not wrote a lot. I've wrote 2 lines for this match,
Right.
but the very last word of my second line was rotten.
That's all you need, isn't it?
So anyway, I've just put Steve's not selling a thing. He's overpowering like Yang Chung, like all the fucking match basically. Crowd fucking dead. They couldn't give a fuck. And the submission like backbreaker, like the over the top backbreaker, like for a submission is a finish. Fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. I don't even know. Like the crowd, I think because it was 88, and obviously towards the late 80s, they still had a decent crew, didn't they? Like with Owen and that, they had like some talent. But I don't know what the fuck was going on here because I'm sure the crowd were thinking, like, come on, like, give us like something. Fucking, it was a tournament match for some fucking thing. I don't know what the tournament was, but it was a tournament match, and the crowd just didn't really seem to care. And Steve, like this Salvo, he done a lot of like he tried with the crowd and stuff with his posing and his flexing his muscles and stuff, and they broke out into a few boos here and there, but they looked like there was a few in the crowd, but they were just fucking dead. And it was literally a one-sided squash, but probably lasted a lot longer than a squash match should, if you know what I mean, because it was literally all him. But yeah, rotten, fucking Dorothy. So that was the first match. Anyway, we'll move on to the second one, which I was hoping to be a bit better, but it really wasn't. This is fucking. this is Gary Albright actually in this one against against Dr. Zhivago.
Dr. Zhivago, weren't they on a fucking something on the telly?
Yeah, that's what I thought. This was another tournament match. The Dr. Zhivago has got nothing to do with a doctor. So whether he was actually a doctor or that's just his fucking name he was born with, but it ain't nothing to do with the fucking. He had nothing to do with a doctor. Look, not even a stethoscope, not a fucking nothing to do with a doctor.
Fuck all.
No, yeah, fuck all, nothing to do with a doctor. But so they got Guan in. Tie up in an arm drag by Zhivago, little shine by Zhivago, drop kick by Zhivago. Fucking similar to the first match in Albright, he's a big dude he was, so he was like showing his strength and stuff. Turns back to fucking taunt like the crowd and that, and he gets a drop kick from Dr. Zhivago, fucking out the ringy guans. It's all Albright now. Gets back in, fucking gives him a German suplex, but that could have been the end of the match because he dropped him right on his fucking bonds. I tell you, looked horrible. Looked horrible. A little bit of fighting back from Dr. Zhivago. Fucking beats him with a belly to belly suplex for the win. Now the first match I put rotten. This match I put terrible. So you can decide which is fucking. But yeah, it almost looked like actually during the match, like the lack of fucking crowd like work was almost like it almost looked like a training match. It legit almost looked like they were just going through the motions.
Yeah, like a test run.
Yeah, and that doctor guy, I don't know who the fuck he is, but he didn't seem to like really know what he was doing either. Like, so yeah, that was kind of terrible. We'll move on to match 3 now, which was well, it's better than the first 2. I've wrote poor after this one, so it's not quite as bad.
It seems like it's getting better.
Yeah, it's getting better after each one, actually. This match was okay in bits, but I think the ending wasn't all that great. Like the match itself was all right, nothing to fucking shit on too much. It was the Cuban Assassin, Jerry Morrow, and Goldie Rogers against Bruce Hart, Keith Hart, and Biff Wellington, like a 6-man. So I wrote a little bit for this one. The Cuban and Bruce start, fucking backdrop by Bruce. Fucking he gives the Cuban a big backdrop. The other 2 heels come in. He body slams both of them like he's the fucking Hulkster at this point. Early on, like, Super Bruce. And then it's Keith and Morrow in. Keith takes out like all 3 of them, like he's the Warrior now. So that's all them 3 gone. So the fucking where are we now? I have put here actually after that little bit. So Bruce basically shined on everyone. Keith shined on everyone. I actually have put because I actually believe Keith was like pretty decent. Like from what I've seen, he looked like he knew what the fuck he was doing in the ring. Not like fucking a mega star or nothing, but he looked very capable of doing. And I'd put Keith like above Bruce in that, like in ring. I always thought Keith was all right, to be fair, but just from watching him, he looked kind of technically sound, kind of thing. Bruce, I think I'll always laugh like at what Brett said about Bruce because it's his own brother, so he can say what he wants. But he was like, he always said that like, I think I read it in his book, but he said when Dynamite Kid used to fucking like when he used to hurt you, like he'd clip your here or clip you there or that. He'd like do it deliberately because you'd done something, or you know what I mean? Like he'd do it. He knew, like, but he was safe as fuck. But if he hurt you, he was meant to hurt you. But he's like, when Bruce hurt you, it's because he didn't have a fucking clue. Like literally, like he would do. He like came from his own, like from his own brother, and he does look quite fucking reckless at times. Like his finish was that clothesline where like he hooks your head. It's like a running clothesline, but so you can't really do anything but smash your fucking head on the ground.
And he goes down with you.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking vicious looking, to be honest. But yeah, so anyway, where are we? Wellington and Rogers in now. Fucking tags on Rogers.
He's all right, that Wellington, isn't he?
He's what?
He's all right, that Wellington.
Yeah, he is. He looks very good as well, like in really good shape.
He's like a pound shop Benoit, isn't he?
He's what?
He's like a pound shop Chris Benoit. Like
yeah.
a fucking, like a Benoit with a moustache.
Yeah. But he was decent, I thought. I haven't seen a whole lot of him, but what I've seen, he looks like, he looks very capable.
Remember, he tagged with Benoit in some WCW tag tournament that, during the Bill Watts time, some international tag tournament. That's the first time I saw him there.
I think they tagged in Stampede as well, didn't they?
Did they?
I think
right.
so. I heard
they had the O'Days from fucking Australia or New Zealand or whatever it was, and some fucking Mexican team. During the Bill Watts period, NWA international tag tour. That's the first time I saw him, and probably Benoit, to be fair.
All right, yeah. Because he died a few years ago, didn't he, Wellington? Like I don't know what year it was, but I remember when he passed away, like reading that he was like Benoit's old tag partner or something. So, I That's where we are. Wellington and Rogers in now. Tags on fucking Rogers. Rogers tags the Cuban in. Loads of tags from both teams here. It's back and forth. Every fucker's getting their shit in. Then it comes to a point where there's quick tags on Jerry Morrow. They give like Wellington heat. Now, the hot tag and the ending was a little bit of a fucking fiasco, to be fair. And the hot tag, fucking Bruce comes in, and then like Keith comes in, like Bruce gets the hot tag, but then tags to Keith. Keith's in, puts the figure 4 on Cuban. It gets broken up, then everyone's in, and there's a big schmoz. Like everyone's running around everywhere. There's a massive double DQ because no one fucking referees totally lost control. And now, I don't know what the fuck this is about, but the match is finished now. DQ to everyone. I wasn't paying attention for a split second. And then when I started fucking paying attention again, I noticed the fucking referees in the trio O. So I just like, I must have fucking blinked, sneezed, or looked away or something. But when I look back, the referee's upside down. I'm like, what? I was like, who's fucking booking this? Because I don't know what that caused. I don't know if the ref was trying to get involved and they thought, we'll put him out of the way. Like, you know, but yeah, so he's upside down. Yeah, I put for fuck's sake, poor. And then there's a face promo in the ring with like, you know, all the faces and stuff. But that's the end of that match. So yeah, that was the match itself was all right. The crowd seemed to be a bit into it more than, I guess it's because of you know, the Hearts were in it. They're a bit more familiar with what's going on. But yeah, it wasn't all that great. The finish was, like I say, fucking right weird. No, it's a bit confusing because like there's another match after this, but I think the other match after this is from another show, but it's on the same episode, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the first 3 matches, I'm 99% sure it was like one show. Like, you know, it just looked like it was the same show. But then the last match, the only reason I believe the last match is from a different show is because it's a singles match with Keith Hart. So
yeah, you wouldn't have him getting straight after, yeah.
Yeah. So Keith Hart is in the ring against someone DeFosse. Nah, never heard of him. All Keith, fucking long headlock, fucking long headlock. It's mainly all fucking Keith, to be fair. It's not a bad match, to be honest. It's just one-sided. Works the head and neck for the early stuff, and then later on he goes to the leg for a figure 4. I just put it as an okay match, but not really a lot to it, to be honest. But yeah, that was my rundown from Stampede Wrestling, to be fair.
So all in all, fucking pretty shabby.
Yeah, I'd give it a it would be pushing to get 1 stars out of 5, to be fair. I'd give it 1. I could give it fucking half a star, but I'll give it 1 in total because it was yeah. And I was quite pissed off. I was disappointed because, you know, I wasn't going to do Stampede until like a later date, but yeah, I thought, you know, I'm going to do it because the fucking talent that's gone through there is incredible. And then I picked this fucking shabby fucking monstrosity when there's fucking hundreds. There's literally so much to pick from, and I thought, you know what, I'll go with this one. 88. I thinking Owen could be there, Pillman, thinking who could be there. But yeah, then we get fucking Yang Chung. So
and Dr. Shivago.
Fucking, you couldn't write it. You couldn't fucking write it. But yeah, that's my
fucking Bruce.
You are.
Neither could Bruce. You couldn't write it. Neither could Bruce.
He fucking couldn't. But that's definitely I think it was Bruce that was booking at that time, if I remember rightly.
I have a Bruce-based question, right?
Right.
Do you think deep down in his heart he knew that he was a bit shit? So that's primarily why he was in tags?
Because
he was tagging with better people. You know, there he was with Biff and Keith, right?
Yeah.
And on my one, he tagged with Pillman because they were bad company, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've not really seen a lot of him on his own. If I've ever seen, well, not ever, but 80% of the time he's in tags.
Yeah, I also think that he was more interested in booking than actually working himself. I
Yeah.
think as well. I think because there was all that fucking fiasco with WWF, weren't there, when he was going like getting an office job or something. Apparently, I don't know the details, but he was fucking. That's why he fucking had beef as well with them, because I don't know the situation, but I think when Vince apparently bought Stampede, wasn't Bruce meant to go as like in the office or something over there or something like that?
They only owned it for a year, didn't they?
Yeah, and apparently Stu didn't get any money from it either. Like he
No.
didn't get any.
And then he brought it back or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well,
What,
actually, I
why,
think I
my
think
question is, why would you buy a fucking company back? Just open another fucking company.
yeah.
You know, like we'll call it fucking, I don't know, fucking Stampede Wrestling instead. You know what you gonna
I
do?
think I think actually now I'm remembering something. I don't know how accurate it is, and I don't know the actual details behind it. But from what I've heard, I believe part of the reason that the whole deal went fucked up is because when Vince when Vince had purchased Stampede, fucking Bruce decided to run against them or something. Um, Still running shows. I don't know if it was under the Stampede thing or in the same area or something like that. He was running, like he decided to run, and like it wasn't part of the deal because I think Stu was pretty pissed off with the whole thing or something, and that's so I think Bruce had something to do with that. But like I say, I don't know the details, but
Yeah.
you know, he should.
The only positive thing that came from the sale is Brett's career. Brett and Jim Neidhart and primarily the fucking Brett Neidhart and the Bulldogs to a degree, innit?
Yeah, because that was part of the deal, weren't it? Like
Yeah.
yeah, Stu was like, you can.
No,
I'll
like,
say
if Stu hadn't sold, Brett wouldn't have been Brett, would he?
no, no, but and I think as well, like I think if Vince didn't buy Stampede, like I don't know about Neidhart, but Brett would have struggled a bit. The Bulldogs had Japan, so they would have been fine because they were like pretty big names, especially Dynamite. So they would have been all right. And like it wasn't that, you know, it was fucking part of the reason Dynamite had Japan is why he left WWF. And he's like, well, I've got Japan anyway, so
Yeah.
he wasn't to be really affected by it. But yeah, like it fucking shot Brett off,
And
didn't it?
in 1984, he could have come home.
Well,
You know,
yeah,
still fucking booming here.
yeah, that's a good point actually. Because when he went over to Canada, he was only going for 6 months, weren't he, or something like that? Fucking it was a long 6 months, wasn't it?
1.5.
Um, I actually did have one question though. Do you actually? What's your thoughts? Because I actually like the guy, and he's very like unorthodox and very like just a bit different. People could say he's a bit dull and a bit boring, but like fucking Ed Whalen, like
Oh, do you know? I was going to ask you exactly the same thing.
wait,
Right. His voice is dull, but what he says is exciting.
right, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, he's really fucking into it. I don't think he's got a clue about what he's saying
no,
because
because
he's kind of arguing with fucking people and calling things whatever the fuck he wants to call things. But he is excited. I just don't think he can put it into his voice. That's just his, really fucking long, drawn out words, aren't they?
it's his tone, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
but I don't think he was. From what I remember, I don't think he was really. He wasn't a wrestling person, was he? I think he was like a local. He was like a local, like radio person or something, whatever it was,
Yeah.
news.
Like Memphis had the weatherman and the like newsreader.
Yeah,
They had Dave Brown and Lance Russell that were like newsreader and weatherman, and they
right.
became people after fucking 30 years of doing the job. Like,
Mm.
yeah, but he has got a fucking dull voice, but
It is. It's very. It's almost like a
I don't
fucking
think he
bingo
means to be
caller, isn't
dull
it?
because he is behind what's happening. And he does put it over well, even though what he's saying is absolute bollocks. But he does
Yeah.
get it across. It's like an Ultimate Warrior promo. You
Right.
know
Yeah.
that Dolph is fucking whoever he's wrestling, but you don't know what he's saying. You know, like it's a bit like that.
I do think like Ed Whalen was. I think he's very likable. Like it's easy to like him. Like I don't think you can not like him, like personally, because he comes across as like just a decent guy. But yeah, like dull as fuck. But like you say, I can't help but being drawn to his ways. You know, it's a bit different.
There was another commentator guy on the one I watched as well that had a hat on, like a beard and a hat.
There was a what? Oh
There was
yeah,
another commentator guy. I don't know what his name was, but
bigger guy,
pardon?
a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on. Wasn't he like a wrestler? Was he a heel? Like a heel?
Not really, no. He was doing like promos in the ring and stuff. He had like a fucking pork pie hat on and a, bit of a beard, not a big one, but
Yeah, I know who you mean because he was doing it when I was watching it on my episode as well. Wasn't sure who it was, but yeah, probably the same guy.
they clearly did the job well because they were there for fucking years, weren't they? So,
Well, yeah, yeah.
some sort of local attraction. Right. March 18th, 88 is mine. There's only 3 matches on it.
Right, okay.
Presentation to Owen Hart for the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Which is North American champion, so he thanks people, says he couldn't have done it without the people, yada yada, a proper babyface. First is Bruce and Pillman versus Jerry Morrow and Kerry Brown.
Okay.
Kerry Brown is apparently the son of Bulldog Bob Brown.
Right.
Looks like him, to be fair, only with more hair and just as shit. Jerry Morrow is all right. It's quite an all-action tag, but primarily it's heat on Pillman. Like it's all baby faces at the start, and then a fucking massive long heat on Pillman. They do the cards. Did they do that on your one? Fucking the referee was giving yellow cards out like football.
I don't recall them doing that. No.
Yeah, he had a whistle, and then for a warning, he'll give you a yellow card.
All right.
I thought it was different, and I've seen it in Europe and stuff, so it might have been something they stole there because those Canadians often went there, didn't they?
In fact, it would have been Bruce booking that then for sure, because I remember fucking Brett even said when Bruce took the book, one of the first things he done was introduce red and yellow cards. So yeah, that makes sense now actually.
The finish is that Kerry Brown gets flared off and totally no sells the fucking bum, right? Gets flared off, big fucking bum, boom, almost gets up straight back on him, straight back on Pillman. Bumps Pillman again. This is great. Goes for an elbow, misses the elbow, right? So Pillman moves out of the way, and then he sells that like he's been shot in the heart. So he gets thrown off the top, totally no sells it. Jumps fucking 1/8 of a foot, sells that like he's dead. Hot tag to Bruce. All the usual shit going on in there. All 4 of them are in. There's a whip into Bruce where he does the fucking that holding on clothesline gimmick to Kerry. That's jobs are good. And it was all right. It wasn't bad, that, to be fair. The heat was really fucking long, maybe a little too long though. That you almost at first you had pity for Pillman, going, "Come on, lads, you could do this." And then after fucking 10 minutes, you were like, "Oh, he's fucking done here. He's got no hope." You know what I mean? If I was a kid, that's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah.
Then we have an interview with that Steve DeSalvo.
All right, okay.
From before, who's talking about wrestling Jason the Terrible.
Right.
Very dull. Then it's Owen versus a mystery opponent. Now this is fucked up. Fucking, this is wild. This. The next 2 matches. There's 4 matches on this, and neither of these 4 make sense. The tag was the only one that made sense.
Okay.
So there's a masked man in the ring, right, with a very odd mask. It's like fucking a proper wrestling mask, but it's got no hat, no head bit in it. So it's like to there, and then you can see this fucking bald head,
right,
and like just a bit of wispy hair sticking out. But the mask be like cut there. Apparently he's a former North American champion. Owen does a promo saying I know all the North American champions that there ever has been. You can't be a North American champion. But I'm a fighting champion, blah, blah, blah. I'll wrestle you anyway. Fucking ding, ding. In comes Muck and Sing, a la fucking Bastian Booger, Norman, and jumps Owen, right? You think, oh, fucking job's done here. Not a word from the referee, right? Not a fucking word. Not get out, Norman, or fucking none of this shit. The masked man, the mystery opponent, gets out the ring as if fuck all's happened and walks off. And the match is now Muck and Sing versus Owen, but there's no fucking referee bollocking, or it's just like, oh shit, oh well, we just done a swap, have we? Okay, sound. That's how that seems. No announcement, no kiss my ass or nothing. Brett does them. Owen does them Bret Hart fucking corner postings, like several of them, and it's just a fucking mauling. There's a bear hug from Bastian Booger. Owen tries a slam, falls back. Norman pulls out the knuckle dusters, starts fucking doing the slide digs with them. Owen drop kicks Muck and Sing out the ring, does a big outside dive. Owen's now got the knuckle dusters outside the ring, and he's popping fucking Muck and Sing, both outside the ring. Double DQ. Double DQ, even though they're both outside the ring. Not a count out, a DQ. Even though they're outside the ring for like 4 days. Double DQ, even though they're outside the ring. I don't make the rules. Then there's a Norman promo saying that he's had to jump Owen Hart because he was just running from him anyway. The only chance to get in the ring is to fucking jump him from behind. Then there's an Owen Hart promo, which is also next to the ring. So they must have sort of taken Owen away and then brought him back after they fucked Muck and Sing off. There's an Owen promo saying stuff like this needs to be accepted because we know Muck and Sing's a cheat, yada, yada, yada. Next match is Steve DeSalvo versus Jason the Terrible. You know Jason in his boiler suit and that fucking white hockey mask, right?
Yeah.
From a horror film, yes? I'm not a fucking film buff, but
Yeah.
He's the baby face.
Yeah, I was thinking that when you just said the match, that was like, I thought, well, who's the fucking face then?
Jason the Terrible is a baby face, right? And I've written in massive words, Jason, face, fucking exclamation mark. You can't see his face. He sounds like he's been fucking shot after like nothing. So you just can't get behind it. It's just like some cunt getting killed. But that Steve DeSalvo is a fucking beast, isn't he? He holds that Jason up. I don't know. Is it? I can't remember who that Jason was.
I think there's been a couple.
Dan Crawford.
Who? Yeah. I think it was actually. I think there's been maybe one or two different ones over the years, but yeah, he was the main one. Yeah. Now you mention it, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
This Steve DeSalvo holds Jason up in this bear hug, but holds him in the air for what seems like forever. Right, and he's fucking leaning back with him and fucking bringing him forward, and like no strain on his face whatsoever. He's a fucking beast. Jason headbutts him with a mask on, which obviously gets him out of that shit. Couple of tackles. Jason goes out the ring. There's a brawl outside the ring. There's a slam to Jason outside the ring. The crowd don't really give a fuck because you can't really get behind Jason because he kills people in films and he's got no face, so you can't see he's in pain anyway. Steve goes into the post outside the ring. It's all going on outside the ring. They're there for about fucking 3 minutes outside the ring at this point. Jason manages to get back in and Steve gets counted out. So Jason wins by count out. Steve then jumps Jason, and then all sorts of other wrestlers come to the ring. Can't quite make out who it is. And he's fucking battering them all now. There's about fucking 6 wrestlers laying dead and 12 referees, and fucking the granny out the third row is getting fucking bad. and the referee, who's just been bumped, gets up and gives him a black card, which means he's suspended. Red, yellow, yellow, red, and black. Fucking new one on me, but off he goes. The last match was Great Garma, who apparently, I looked into this, he's the uncle of Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And this is for the Commonwealth title versus Chris Benoit. Now, at the start of the match, they say it's for the Commonwealth title. Garma's the champion for the Commonwealth title. Can't stress that enough, that it's for the Commonwealth title. Benoit wins. It's a much match. I'm not a fucking Benoit fan anyway. The match isn't really much, to be fair. There's some mist. There's a manager with Garma. The manager sort of throws some sort of powder, and then there's move, and Garma gets it in the face. You know, that kind of shit. That's the finish. Benoit wins the championship. Everyone's in to celebrate with Benoit. Lovely jubbly. For the Commonwealth title, like they said earlier, he's got the belt in his hand. Now the man at ringside is saying, well done on winning the Commonwealth Mid-Heavyweight Championship. Now, it's got a different name, this title now. It's now the Commonwealth Mid-Heavyweight Championship, not the Commonwealth Championship like it was earlier. Benoit says, in a very Ric Flair style, this is the greatest moment of my life, right? Really charismatic, most charismatic Benoit has ever been. And then Benoit says, I'm so pleased to now be the junior Commonwealth mid-heavyweight champion. Now it's got a fucking different name. This is the third name this fucking championship's had in the last 8 minutes. Then there's a Garma Singh promo. What's his name? Great Garma promo. He's mad as fuck, saying that there's a clause in his contract that he must wrestle him next week for for the Commonwealth Championship. So it's back to the fucking Commonwealth Championship. Yeah, that was fucking Stampede Wrestling. What can I say? It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I did enjoy it. It did make me chuckle. The tag was way longer than I thought it should have been. It was just book wrong. That's all it was, in my opinion. It wasn't wrestled wrong. It was just book wrong.
It was a funny one because I really like I say, I wanted to watch one from 84, 80, that kind of time, but I couldn't find a whole episode. So I could only find matches from round about that time, and I wanted to watch like an episode. So, you know, I know for a fact if we were to watch one from 84, it'd be a lot more enjoyable because we'd know who they were, the proper, like, capable workers, you know. By that time, fucking, like, Dynamite had been around for years. Brett had been around for 5-6 years or whatever. So, like, they're all established before they went off to the fucking big leagues. And, you know, they had JYD, Jake, you know, everyone passed through round about that time. So it was a bit, you know, it was a good, I think it was a good,
they had the first ladder match there, didn't they?
Yeah. Wasn't it like the first ladder match like ever? Or
yeah, Jake and Big Daddy Ritter.
That was it.
I believe so. I believe it was the first ever.
Yeah, it was definitely.
That's what they're claiming, at least.
Yeah. Because it was them that gave the idea to Vince, apparently, and Vince was like, nah, ain't gonna fucking work or something. Originally, I don't think he was too fond of ladder matches in WWF. He was like, how does this even work type of thing. But they kind of convinced him, and now every fucking show's got one on.
At the time when they did the Shawn Michaels and Razor thing, right? That was kind of when it came back, right?
Yeah. Because they tried it before.
Shawn had one first.
Shawn and Brett had one first on a house show, and just to like show them how it worked, and then they were meant to do one on pay-per-view, like Shawn and Brett, but then something happened, and I don't recall exactly what happened, but it got switched and ended up doing it with Razor. But yeah, I actually preferred the second one that Razor and Shawn had. You know, the SummerSlam one, 95. Yeah, I actually prefer that one. But I think the WrestleMania 10 one gets all the praise because it was like the first big, you know, the first main. But
people see the first ever, and I understand that, to be fair, because it's the first mainstream one, isn't it?
Yeah. But
imagine You know, like when Jake and Brett went to Vince with it. Imagine if they had done it in '88, say. I don't think it would have worked because it wasn't wrestling back then.
Mm.
You know, but by time Razor and Shawn did it, wrestling had developed to the point that you can hit people with shit. Not
Yeah.
quite to the extent that it did, but it was going that way, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, who the fuck would have done it in 1987?
Don't
You
know
know,
really. Do.
I mean, I'm surprised fucking JYD was in one to be fair, or Jake, because neither are like flyers. You'd have
No.
expected a Brett and Dynamite.
Yeah. Because their one, like with Brett and that, they fucking took some crazy, like crazy shit in it. Like I don't even know if I've seen the whole match, but I've seen bits here and there, and it looks crazy. Looks,
What would the WWF have done in the mid '80s? Like fucking, you know, Big John Studd versus Andre in a fucking ladder match. It's not going to happen, is it? Bundy against fucking Kamala in a ladder match.
it could be a spectacle, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so that was Stampede. Let's never talk about it again. We didn't pick your singles for Monday because we did a long one, didn't we? So I think I was just thinking, fuck, it's not going to fit on the phone. So who did you pick for next Monday?
Right, next Monday, you might not be surprised by my pick on this one, but I thought, you know what, I watched some of his stuff recently, and you know how much I fucking love this guy, but we're going to go with Rick Rude on Monday.
It's a good pick.
I was reading about it, and I thought, you know, I'll fucking do that. I'll do some Rude. So
Rude it is, and lots of places, more places than you'd imagine. To be fair,
fucking everywhere, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
All the main, like you know, the main places.
And did well in all of them.
He did, didn't he? Top name. Right.
Territory wise, Wednesday next, I'm looking at more of a type of wrestling rather than an area of wrestling.
Okay.
So 4 matches each of midget wrestling.
Oh yeah.
So any promotion, any era, but midget wrestling.
So there's like, so 4 matches involving midgets, basically. Yeah, we can do that. That's a fucking that'd be an experience, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I did have a look at you know, the YouTube or what's there, and there's promotions now that are just. I mean, it's probably not politically correct to say midget wrestling, but I'm not saying it derogatory because in the area that we were watching wrestling, it was called fucking midget wrestling.
That's what it was. And they're on fucking advertised on posters as midget wrestling, isn't it? So it's like that's how they promoted it back then. So I don't even know what you call it now.
There's promotions now that are just dedicated to that.
Yeah, there is.
You know, fucking Dwarf Mania or one's fucking called. I don't know what it is, but but like for me, I love the old ones, like you know, Little Toad, fucking Lord Littlebrook and all that shit.
Sky Lolo.
Yeah, proper pop for that. Like the NWA had a world midget champion,
right?
You know, pretty fucking big, isn't it? So yeah, I just thought that's different, isn't it? And then we'll get your tag pick on Friday when we do the Rouge House. We've been to Canada today, and we'll see you all in wherever we end up Friday. Laters.